It's very exciting to be able to reveal the plan that we've been working on for many years. Finally, now it's underway.
Ms. Marvel is packed full of impressive CGI shots created by award-winning teams. From little things like creating realistic buildings to massive things like causing major explosions, the visual effects team had their hands full on this MCU miniseries. Number 1. A brand new character, while still honoring the original. One thing that was really exciting for the VFX team was getting to create Ms. Marvel's powers from scratch. The award-winning team at Digital Domain went through multiple iterations of Kamala Khan's powers. They wanted it to be an obvious, otherworldly source, while still honoring the comic's origin. The team experimented with color schemes, eventually landing on blue as an ode to her hero, Captain Marvel. To depict the massive version of Kamala, they created a giant version of the character in Maya, then finished it up by encasing her in the glow of hard light using Houdini. Number 2. This took a lot more digital coordination than you think. Digital Domain VFX supervisor Aladino Deber and his incredible team of artists had a full workload when it came to creating settings like a crowded train station. For the scene where Kamala gets transported into the past, they began with actual footage of a modern-day train station, with only a small group of extras, in time-appropriate clothing. They added steam to the locomotives in post, and then ran the actors through Houdini's crowd tool to add extra bodies to every unnecessarily open space. Number 3. And obeying traffic laws, no less. The final scene of Kamala running through the city was actually inspired by Spider-Man swinging through his city. They ended up doing all of that animation by hand, because Kamala's platforms aren't totally immovable. The animation team had to play with weight transfer to get everything to look just right. Aladino talks with Digital Trends about this complicated sequence. You don't really think about it because it looks natural, but if you go frame by frame, you can see her feet bounce in a particular way, and her body position change depending on what kind of platform she's running on. Number 4. Not the class science project you're used to. In this high-powered finale, there are major moments that rely heavily on the VFX team. When our heroes head back to high school to set some major Home Alone-style traps, they fill the school with what's known as elephant toothpaste. This gray, CG, foam-like substance was created by the VFX team, and it's only animated as it expands throughout the building. They actually spent more time on this 12-second shot than anything else in the whole show. Number 5. Also known as the most efficient form of transportation. Creating Kamala's hard light platforms were pertinent to the VFX team. There's an important scene where she is training on a rooftop, jumping from platform to platform. The sequence utilizes clean, almost virtually clear plates and digitally generated backgrounds to give the impression that she is, in fact, running through the city. Rise VFX supervisor Stuart Bullen shares one of the major challenges of perfecting these platforms. There's a narrow window where the hard light needed to look solid, with a fine balance of opacity versus opaqueness, while avoiding looking like crystal. So the development of the powers went through many subtle adjustments until we settled on the right balance. Number 6. There were at least 3 Digi-Doubles for Kamala. The artistic use of Digi-Doubles was an important factor in making sure they could showcase Kamala's powers and the damage done to the city in a realistic way. By working with full-body scans of Iman Vellani, they were able to create a full-body duplicate of her, and several other characters, and place them in dangerous situations without worry. They were also able to edit the live-action footage and remove any imperfections that would take away from the scene. Stuart Bullen shares with AWN what it was like to choreograph these scenes. At times, we needed Kamala to land on the hard light platforms where they absorbed her kinetic energy, so we relied upon swapping out Iman Vellani for our Digi-Double to allow for a more natural reaction between the two forms. Number 7. Some sick visuals here. An important task for the Rise VFX team was being able to show a smooth transition between the Noor Dimension, Karachi, and then Earth. We settled on glass panes that rise out of the floor, and in between these panes, sand rises up to form those worlds. This was the first time that the Noor Dimension has been visually represented in any way in the Marvel Cinematic Universe, and so it was our task to imagine how that should look. Stuart Bullen describes it as an FX supervisor's dream. Number 8. more like the breakable CGI panel. Most shows would typically use breakable glass when it came to bursting through a door, but as you can see, the visual effects were so smoothly done you wouldn't even know it was CGI unless disclosed. Farhan Akhtar's character Walid is shown bursting through a door at Red Dagger's headquarters, and as shown by Rise, that glass panel was completely generated by the VFX team to ensure a smooth take. Number 9. A must-have for any MCU battle. A major part of depicting the fight scenes in Ms. Marvel were the utilization of CG weapons. Iman Vellani and her co-stars would depict the movements separately and then get rendered into a Digi-Double, so they could then place them into a realistically dangerous fight sequence without needing an actual prop in place. Stuart Bullen explains, the fight scenes on set were carefully choreographed, and so how the hard light platforms move around the scenes and are also used as weapons was choreographed at Rise. Number 10. Let's get into Kamala's iconic MCU powers. We talked a little bit about how they were able to depict the larger-than-life versions of Kamala by using Maya and Houdini. But did you know that her actual powers weren't even in the script? There was no actual description of what she was able to do, so they just kind of figured it out as they went. Co-director Bilal Fallah talks with Slash Film about how Noordine Rahali, one of the effect supervisors, came up with her powers. He came up with that design of having this crystally hard light thing around her, and when he presented it to us, we said, that's too cool. We're going to keep that for the finale, so that at least we have our Embiggen moment. And that's how, finally, it was a good blend between what was originally in the script and eventually that homage of the comic. Number 11. One of our favorite moments in the series. The iconic lamppost shot that was taken directly from the comic book series was beautifully rendered by the VFX team. By utilizing the New York and New Jersey set extensions, green screen, and some impressive CGI animation, they were able to give us this brilliant final moment we were all waiting for. Number 12. New Jersey is a character within itself. To get the vibrant shots of Jersey City, the VFX team created digital set extensions. They wanted to be able to show every aspect of the city without having to actually place a camera over every corner. Bilal Fallah explains the artistic decision behind making New Jersey a character within itself. That's what we wanted to do with New Jersey, and really show all of those worlds and see the Daisy Street and all this vibrancy that's in a city that we love, and that's part of the world of Kamala. So having that colorful and dynamic and authentic street/urban feeling was really important for us to translate. Number 13. Another great moment for the VFX team. This might come as a surprise, but the iconic mosque that's used in the show was actually created with CGI, though they did get real shots from the Fox Theater, Krishna Life Temple and Monastery, and the Islamic Institute of Atlanta for all of their digital references. Number 14. Working with light bulbs on camera is an art form. When creating Kamala's powers on screen, one of the biggest challenges was getting the lighting just right. The cinematographer, Jules O'Loughlin, wanted to do as much as possible on camera, so they didn't have to leave everything to the VFX team. It's a real dance between getting lighting fixtures on the set, but hiding them from the camera. I used larger-than lighting fixtures off camera for energy walls and the like, and then smaller LEDs behind her arms or in her clothes, hiding smaller units around the set. Number 15. We're here for every panel. One thing Bilal Fallah really wanted to do when it came to bringing Ms. Marvel to life was utilize a comic book style animation when showing what it was like to be inside Kamala's head. He talks to Slash Film about the inspiration behind that. We were a bit afraid that Marvel wouldn't do that because it's totally different than all of the other shows, so we really tried to present this presentation to Kevin Feige to show that, with animation, we can go inside her head, her fantasy land, and her imagination. Without this aesthetic, they would have been limited in Kamala's characterization. After learning all the visual effects secrets from Digital Domain and Rise, we're even more impressed with Ms. Marvel's hard light powers, the beautiful set of New Jersey, and the seamless incorporation of animation to create this modern MCU universe. What was your favorite moment in the series?